Hello everyone, welcome back. How's it going? Having a good day? Looks like the sun's out. You should get out and get some sunshine. So, what exciting things have been happening? It's Friday. Let's see. Nothing exciting happening on my end. I'm so sorry. That's very sad. Exciting news though. We can continue with Fablehaven today. Yay! That's so exciting. Okay, so what's happening? Oh, I stopped at a really good part, right? So they have to go into the old manor. Remember in the second book, Seth had escaped from Alec and he was trying to find out where he was, and he came across the old manor and he climbed up to the roof in order to get a bird's eye view of where he was. And then he was chased out of the house by some weird vortex type thing. So we know that there's something inside the old manor, but they also know that that's where the second artifact is hidden. So, and the artifact only appears for an hour every Monday. So they have to go and try and find it really soon, or else Fablehaven is doomed, right? Okay, so let's say, foregoing the milk sounds like our best option, Warren said. You say the safe will appear tomorrow? At noon, Grandpa said, and then not for another week. We can't afford to wait. What about daylight saving time? Grandma asked. This time of year, we recognize noon standard time as 1 o'clock. With an apparition guarding the safe, timing will be essential, Grandpa said. When did daylight saving time go into effect? Around World War I, Grandma said, probably after the safe was created. Let's go by standard time then, and hope the safe isn't as smart as my cell phone, automatically updating itself. Grandpa said, we want to reach that room at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Where are you going? Scooter's being restless. Hi, Scoot. Oh! Look at this. We are so distracted today. Not at all like we usually are. My goodness. All right, let's continue. Ooh. Dale and I can tackle this, Warren offered. I should come, Seth said. If I'm there, Coulter and Tanu can scout for us. They can't be out under the sun, Grandpa reminded him, and we have to do this around midday. In fact, in the interest of caution, since they can't help, don't mention any of this to them. Maybe tomorrow will be cloudy, Seth tried. Besides, I'm the only one who has been inside the manor before. I know where Lena was talking about. And what if the apparition uses magical fear? I may be the only one of us not paralyzed. We'll consider your courageous offer, Grandpa said. I don't see how we'll succeed without incurring some losses, Grandma said, her brow scrunched. Too much is riding on this for us to fail. We need multiple people going after the safe from multiple directions. Some of us will fall, but others are bound to get through. I agree, Grandpa said. Dale, Warren, Ruth, and I should combine in a united offensive. And me, Seth insisted. I could come too, Kendra offered. Your eyes can't be closed to magical creatures, Grandpa reminded Kendra. Your ability to see and be seen might inadvertently give us away. It might be handy to have somebody along who can tell what is actually there and what is actually happening, Kendra maintained. We'll bring walrus butter, Warren said. We'll unveil our eyes if the need arises. So the 5 of us, Seth said, as if the matter were decided, plus Hugo. Hugo, yes, Grandpa said. 5? I'm not so sure. I'll even hang back if you want, Seth proposed. I'll only go inside if it makes sense. Otherwise, I'll retreat. Think about it. If this fails, we're all doomed anyhow. I might as well be there to help it succeed. He makes a good case, Warren conceded, and we'll be glad to have him if fear overcomes us. We know such fear exists. All right, Grandpa said. You can join us, Seth, but not Kendra. Nothing personal, dear. Your ability to see really could spoil our one possible advantage. Do we want help from any of the other creatures? Seth asked. I doubt they could enter the manor, Grandma said. But they could create a diversion, Warren suggested. Draw attention elsewhere. Many dark creatures await us beyond the hedge. Good thinking, Grandpa said, becoming animated. We could send out several parties in different directions, fairies and satyrs and dryads. Ideally centaurs, Grandma added. Good luck, Dale harumphed. Seth spoke with them earlier today, Warren said. Perhaps if we tickled their pride. Maybe coming from the children if they sounded sufficiently desperate, Grandpa mused. Regardless, I'll speak with representatives from the other creatures here. We'll drum up enough help to cause a commotion tomorrow. Remember, no walrus butter in the morning. Tomorrow, the pond should appear encompassed by butterflies, goats, groundhogs, and deer. What about the golden owls? Kendra asked. The ones with the faces? The astrids? Grandma said. Little is known about them. They rarely acknowledge other creatures. I'll prepare the cart, Dale said. If we're all blind and covered, Hugo might be able to smuggle us to the manor unnoticed. Won't they go after Hugo? Seth asked. A golem is not an easy target, Grandma said. Many potential enemies may not care to bother him if he appears to be alone. Grandpa clapped his hands together and rubbed them briskly. Time is short. Let's start making arrangements. Should I stop there for today? I'm just kidding. I'm totally going to keep reading. Oh, I heard you cheer all the way from here. That's so exciting. Okay, the sun was setting as Kendra and Seth trudged across an empty expanse of lawn toward the centaurs. The golden glow highlighted the bloated muscles of their chests, shoulders, and arms as the pair stood gazing stoically around the pond. I don't think you should come, Kendra hissed. You have too much of a temper. We need to sincerely beg. How dumb do you think I am? Seth replied. Anyone can beg. Kendra gave him a dubious glance. Can you humbly plead for a favor from a jerk who rubs your nose in it? He hesitated. Of course, he said. You better not blow this, Kendra warned, lowering her voice to a whisper. Remember, by groveling, we're manipulating them. Pride is their weakness, and we're exploiting that in order to get what we need. They may gloat, but if they do what we ask, we're the ones in charge. And if they turn us down flat? Seth asked. We'll have tried, Kendra said simply, and we'll leave it at that. We can't afford extra problems, not with so much riding on tomorrow. Can you behave? I will, he said, sounding more certain than he had earlier. Follow my lead, Kendra said. Let me introduce you first, Seth said. As they approached, the centaurs did not watch them. When Kendra and Seth finally stood directly before them, the centaurs kept their solemn eyes steadily fixed upon some inscrutable subject of interest elsewhere. Broadhoof, Cloudwing, this is my sister Kendra, Seth said. She wanted to meet you. Cloudwing glanced down at them. Broadhoof did not. We come to you on an urgent errand, Kendra said. Cloudwing regarded her momentarily. The silver fur on his quarters twitched. We already declined the invitation to counsel with your grandsire. This isn't a repeated invitation, Kendra said. We've devised a plan to recover an item that may help reverse the plague. Many of the other creatures here have offered their help, but without you, we're leaderless. Now, both of the centaurs regarded her. Kendra continued. We need to divert the attention of the darkened creatures watching this area so my grandpa and a few others can slip away to pursue the item. None of the other creatures have the speed or ability to lead the charge through the main gap in the hedge. Only tainted centaurs could truly challenge us, Cloudwing considered, eyes on Broadhoof. We could outdistance the satiric sentries as well, Broadhoof said. How do we know this scheme warrants our leadership? Cloudwing asked. Kendra faltered, glancing at Seth. My grandpa is willing to risk his life and the lives of his family to carry out the plan, Seth said. We can't guarantee it will work, but at least it gives us all a chance. Without your help, we'll never know, Kendra exaggerated. Please? We need you, Seth said. If the plan works, you'll have rescued Fablehaven from my grandfather's incompetent management. He glanced at Kendra for approval. The centaurs leaned together, conferring inaudibly. Your lack of leadership is indeed a problem, Broadhoof pronounced, but Cloudwing and I do not perceive it as our problem. We must decline. What? Seth cried. Are you serious? Then I'm glad half the preserve is here to watch who stood idly by when Fablehaven was endangered. Kendra glared at her brother. We care little for the fate of satyrs and humans, and less for their reactions to our indifference, Cloudwing stated. Thanks anyhow, Kendra said, grabbing Seth's arm to pull him away. He shook free of her. Fine, Seth spat. But I'll be going out there tomorrow. Good luck ignoring the fact that you don't even have the courage of a human boy. The centaur stiffened. Am I deceived, or did the whelp label us cowards? Cloudwing asked in a dangerous tone. Our verdict not to lead your diversion had nothing to do with fearfulness. We recognize the activity as futile. Broadhoof fixed Seth with a fierce stare. Surely the human youth misspoke. Seth folded his arms and stared back silently. If he means to stand by his insult, Broadhoof said forebodingly, I will demand immediate satisfaction. No one, great or small, tramples my honor. You mean a duel? Seth asked incredulously. You're going to prove your courage by beating up a kid? He raises a valid concern, Cloudwing said, laying a hand on Broadhoof's shoulder. Consorting with hogs will only leave us soiled. The two of you are dead to us, Broadhoof declared. Depart. Kendra tried to drag Seth away, but he was too strong. All muscle and no backbone, Seth snarled. Let's go find some satyrs to lead us. Or maybe a dwarf. Leave the frightened ponies to pretend they have honor. Kendra wanted to strangle her brother. We overlooked your insult out of pity, Broadhoof fumed. Yet you persist? I thought I was dead, Seth said. Keep it straight, you nag. Broadhoof balled his fists, huge muscles bunching in his forearms. Veins stood out on his beefy neck. Very well. Tomorrow at sunrise, you and I will resolve the issue of my honor. No, we won't, Seth said. I don't fight with mules. The fleas are my biggest concern. That and the actual problems that need solving. You're welcome to murder me in my tent. Broadhoof is within his rights to challenge you to a duel after a deliberate insult, Cloudwing asserted. I stand as a witness of the exchange. He extended a hand, indicating the surrounding area. Furthermore, this place is a refuge for creatures of light. As a human, you are a trespasser here. Like the naiads in the pond, Broadhoof could slay you at will with utter impunity. Kendra felt her stomach drop. Seth looked shaken. Which would prove nothing about your honor, Seth said, his voice almost steady. If you care about honor, lead the diversion tomorrow. The centaurs put their heads together and spoke quietly. After a moment, they parted. Seth Sorensen, Broadhoof intoned weightily, never in my long years have I been so openly affronted. Your words are unforgivable. And yet, I am not ignorant to the reality that they were spoken in a misguided ploy to gain my assistance, in counterpoint to the awkward flattery you attempted at first. For the insolence of denying my challenge, I should strike you down where you stand. But in acknowledgement of the desperate valor behind your words, I will stay my hand for the moment and forget this conversation ever occurred. If you drop to your knees, beg my forgiveness, claim insanity, and declare yourself a craven coward. Seth hesitated. Kendra elbowed him. He shook his head. No, I won't do that. If I did, I really would be a coward. All I take back is saying my grandfather mismanaged the preserve. You're right that we were pretending to flatter you. With a ring of metal, Broadhoof unsheathed an enormous sword. Kendra had not previously noticed the scabbard hanging at his side. The centaur held the blade aloft. This brings me no pleasure, Broadhoof growled broodingly. I have a better idea, Seth said. If you lead the diversion tomorrow, and I come back alive, I'll duel with you. Then you can satisfy your honor right away. Kendra thought the centaur appeared relieved. He spoke briefly with Cloudwing. Very well, Broadhoof said. You have accomplished your aim, though not without a price. Tomorrow we will spearhead your diversion. The day after, at dawn, we will settle the matter of your impudence. Kendra seized Seth's hand. This time, he allowed her to conduct him away. She waited to speak until they were far from the centaurs. What's the matter with you? It required all of her control to resist screaming the words. I got them to help us, Seth said. You knew they were arrogant. You knew they might not help, but you insisted on insulting them. Not only is getting yourself killed a bad idea, it hurts our chances of saving Fablehaven. But I'm not dead, he said, patting his torso as if shocked to find himself intact. You should be, and you probably will be. Not for 2 days, he replied. Don't speak so soon. We haven't told Grandma and Grandpa what happened yet. Don't tell them, Seth pleaded, suddenly desperate. Things are bad enough. I'll do whatever you want. Just don't tell. Kendra threw up her hands. Now you beg? If you tell, they won't let me go to the manor, but they'll need me. Also, they'll worry needlessly. They'll lose focus and make mistakes. Listen, you can tell them eventually. You can make me look as stupid as you want. Just wait until after we raid the manor. The reasoning behind his plea made some sense. All right, Kendra consented. I'll wait until tomorrow afternoon. His grin tempted her to change her mind. And that is where I'm going to stop for today, for real. We are on chapter 18, The Old Manor, and a lot is about to happen. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me again. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye!